Chosen one. Have you ever felt stuck? Like no matter how hard you try, things just don't get better? Maybe you've been working harder than ever, putting in extra hours, trying your best every day. Yet no matter how much you push, money still feels far away, and life doesn't get easier. You might even wonder if God has forgotten about you, but listen closely, because this is important. Your struggles aren't happening by accident. All the hard times you're facing right now are actually part of something much bigger. God is watching you closely. He's getting ready to change your life and release wealth into your hands. Before that happens, He needs to see if you're ready. Right now, you're facing some big tests. The struggles you've been feeling, the loneliness, frustration, and financial worries are all signs. They're signs that your journey to wealth and abundance has already started. But to get there, you must first pass the tests God has set in front of you. The question is, are you ready to pass them? Your journey to real wealth and abundance has officially begun. Right now, you're standing at a very important moment, a moment that changes everything. All the struggles you've faced, every closed door, every disappointment was guiding you to this exact place. You're here because God has seen your strength, your courage, and your persistence. But before the incredible blessings can truly flow into your life, God has prepared 5 special tests that every chosen person must face. These 5 tests aren't here to make things harder for you. Instead, they're here to prepare you. You see, wealth isn't just about money. It's about trust, responsibility, faith, obedience, and strength when you're alone. These tests will make sure you're ready, both spiritually and emotionally, for the great responsibilities that wealth brings. Most people never see these tests clearly. They think wealth comes from hard work alone or just being lucky, but you're different there. And today, you have a chance to clearly understand these tests. When you pass them, doors you never imagined will begin to open. Opportunities you've dreamed about will suddenly appear, and blessings that felt far away will become real and close. So get ready. Pay close attention, because I'm about to clearly show you each of these 5 divine tests. I'll explain exactly what they are, why they're so important, and how you can pass them. Remember, these are the same tests all great men and women from the Bible faced before God trusted them with abundance and power. Your time of confusion and struggle is ending. Right now, you're at the threshold of your new life. Step forward boldly, and let's discover the tests God has placed before you. This is your moment. Don't miss it. Now it's time to clearly understand each of the 5 tests God has placed before you. Remember, before God hands over great wealth and blessings, He always prepares you through tests. These tests aren't meant to hurt or punish you. They're here to make you stronger, wiser, and ready for the incredible responsibilities ahead. We'll take our time going through each test, clearly explaining them with powerful stories from the Bible, examples you can relate to, and practical guidance you can apply in your daily life. The first test you must pass is called the test of trust. This test was clearly seen in Abraham's story from Genesis 22. Imagine how Abraham felt when God asked him to sacrifice Isaac, his only son, the one he loved deeply. Abraham didn't understand why God would ask something so difficult, but he decided to trust God completely, even without understanding. He believed deeply that God would somehow provide, even when it looked impossible. When Abraham passed this test, God stopped him at the last moment and rewarded his trust greatly. Abraham's descendants became numerous, blessed, and wealthy beyond imagination. For you, passing this test means trusting God fully, even when nothing makes sense. Maybe you're facing something that feels impossible or confusing right now. Perhaps you've lost a job, faced unexpected expenses, or struggled financially in ways that shake your faith. To pass this test, you must trust that God is good, even when life is hard. Believe that He has a plan for your finances. Take small steps each day to remind yourself that God sees you, He loves you, and He will provide for you in ways you might not yet imagine. The second test you must face is the test of stewardship. Jesus clearly taught about this in the parable of the talents in Matthew 25. A master entrusted money, called talents, to 3 servants before going away on a journey. 2 servants wisely used their talents and multiplied them. But one servant buried his talent out of fear and didn't gain anything. When the master returned, he rewarded the faithful servants who wisely managed their money. But the servant who did nothing lost everything he had. To pass this test today, you must show God you can handle money wisely, no matter how little you have. Stewardship means careful management. God watches how you manage small amounts of money before He trusts you with more. This means budgeting your money, spending carefully, saving consistently, and giving generously, even when it feels difficult. Start small. If you have just a little money right now, learn to manage it wisely and responsibly. Prove to God that He can trust you with bigger blessings by honoring what you have today. The third test is called the test of faith in action, clearly shown through the widow's offering in Luke 21. In this story, Jesus watched people giving offerings at the temple. Many gave large amounts, but a poor widow gave just 2 tiny coins, everything she had. To most people, it looked small and unimportant. But to Jesus, this woman showed incredible faith because she gave her all, trusting fully that God would care for her needs. Passing this test means taking actions that show your faith, not just talking about it. Perhaps God is asking you to give or invest in something that feels scary or risky right now. Maybe He's calling you to start a small business, help someone in need, or give when you don't feel you have enough. Passing the test of faith in action means stepping out courageously, trusting God fully, and acting even when you don't yet see how things will turn out. God always rewards true acts of faith, especially when done quietly and sincerely. The fourth test is the test of obedience, illustrated clearly by Joshua and the city of Jericho in Joshua chapter 6. God gave Joshua instructions that didn't make sense in human terms, marching around a fortified city for 7 days, blowing horns, and shouting at walls. It sounded strange, yet Joshua obeyed fully. Because of his obedience, the walls of Jericho fell down, and Joshua achieved an incredible victory. Sometimes God's instructions for you may seem confusing or challenging too. Perhaps God is telling you to change careers, move to a new place, or end certain relationships that don't serve His plan. Passing this test means choosing to obey, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. Your obedience unlocks doors that nothing else can. Remember, your breakthrough often hides behind simple acts of faithful obedience. God never forgets when you obey His voice. The fifth and final test is called the test of isolation, best shown through Joseph's story in Genesis chapters 39 to 41. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. He spent years isolated, misunderstood, and alone. But through those lonely years, Joseph stayed faithful, humble, and trusted God completely. Eventually, God raised Joseph to power, giving him control over all of Egypt's wealth. If you're feeling isolated or lonely right now, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means God is preparing you. Isolation is a training ground. During lonely seasons, God shapes your character, tests your heart, and prepares you for leadership and abundance. Passing this test means staying faithful and trusting, even when no one sees you or encourages you. Stay strong and patient during this time. Your isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. God always rewards faithfulness in hidden seasons. Now, you've heard clearly about all 5 divine tests: trust, stewardship, faith in action, obedience, and isolation. Each test has a special purpose, preparing you to handle the abundant wealth and responsibility God plans to give you. Take a deep breath and reflect. Which test speaks to your heart the most right now? Which one are you already passing? Which one do you still need help with? Right now, I want you to do something powerful. Pause and comment clearly below. Let us know which test you relate to the most, or which one you feel God is preparing you to pass. When you comment, it's more than just words. It's a powerful declaration that you see the tests clearly and are ready for God's blessings. Your declaration invites clarity, strength, and breakthrough into your life. Take this moment and comment. Then, prepare your heart for the powerful spiritual revelation coming next. Because once you pass these tests, your life will change in ways you've never imagined. Now listen very closely, because the next few minutes can completely transform the way you understand every struggle you've ever faced. Right now, you might be feeling tired, confused, or even wondering why things had to be so difficult. You've heard clearly about the 5 divine tests God allows His chosen people to face: trust, stewardship, faith in action, obedience, and isolation. And maybe you're asking yourself, why does God make it so hard? Does God want me to fail? But here's the powerful truth. These tests were never designed to break you down or make your life impossible. They're not punishments for past mistakes, nor are they meant to discourage or weaken you. In fact, these tests are meant to do exactly the opposite. They're specifically designed to make you stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever before. Imagine an athlete preparing for the biggest race of their life. Before the competition, they go through intense training, practicing every day, pushing their bodies to the limit. At times, the training feels painful, exhausting, and difficult. But the athlete doesn't quit because they know every tough practice is making them stronger, faster, and more ready to win. In the same way, God is training you through these tests. He's using every challenge, every setback, every tough moment to shape you into someone capable of handling the great wealth and responsibility He plans to place in your hands. Think about gold. Real gold must be tested by fire. When gold is heated, all impurities are burned away, leaving only pure and valuable metal. Right now, you're in that fire, not to harm you, but to remove anything that might stop you from fully receiving God's blessings. God knows if He gave you abundance before you were ready, it could harm you instead of helping you. These tests help you become pure, wise, strong, and ready to handle God's blessings correctly. Each time you pass a test, trusting Him deeply, stewarding wisely, taking actions of faith, obeying Him quickly, or enduring isolation, you become stronger and closer to your breakthrough. Remember clearly that each test you face is carefully chosen for you. God doesn't test everyone the same way. He knows exactly what you need to experience to become the person you're meant to be. Perhaps you're facing tough financial choices right now, and you're learning deep trust like Abraham. Maybe you have very little, and you're discovering how to manage wisely, like the servants in the parable of the talents. Or perhaps God is asking you to take a step of faith that feels scary, like the widow who gave her last coins. Each test you face is perfectly tailored by God to prepare you for your unique calling and blessings. And here's the most powerful insight of all. These tests prove how deeply God cares about you. Think about it. A loving parent doesn't let their child drive a car until they've learned how to handle it safely. In the same way, God doesn't give great wealth, power, or responsibility to his children until they've shown they're ready. Every test is an act of God's love and wisdom. Every challenge you faced is God's way of saying, I believe in you. I trust you enough to prepare you for something incredible. So never see these tests as punishment. Instead, see them clearly for what they are. Proof that you're chosen, loved, and prepared for greatness. God isn't against you. He's deeply on your side. He knows your strength, even when you don't see it in yourself. Every single moment of struggle you've experienced has purpose. When the tests finally end, and they will end, you will clearly see that your faith has become stronger, your heart wiser, and your spirit ready to handle the incredible blessings God has prepared. Right now, pause and reflect deeply. Begin to see your struggles differently. Instead of seeing setbacks, see opportunities. Instead of feeling weak, realize you're growing stronger every day. Clearly understand and believe this powerful revelation. These tests aren't breaking you, they're building you. And once you truly see this, you'll begin to feel strength rising within you. Your breakthrough is closer than ever before. Stay strong, trust God's timing, and know without doubt that every test is preparing you perfectly for the abundance He has planned just for you. Right now, you're facing one of the most important moments of your life, a spiritual crossroads. You clearly understand the tests you've faced: trust, stewardship, faith in action, obedience, and isolation. You've learned they're not random or unfair, but carefully chosen by God to strengthen and prepare you. But knowing these tests exist isn't enough. Right now, you must clearly choose what comes next. You have a critical decision to make, one that will determine whether you step forward into abundance or remain stuck in the struggles you've always known. This is your moment of truth. Maybe you're feeling exhausted, uncertain, or afraid. Perhaps doubts and fears are creeping into your mind, making you question whether this is really God's plan for you. You might even wonder if it's easier to quit now, to step back into what feels familiar, even if it's painful. But consider this carefully. What if everything you've asked God for, every blessing you've prayed about, every breakthrough you've dreamed of, is just around the corner? What if you're closer than ever before, and all God is waiting for is your clear decision to fully trust Him? Choosing to trust God's process isn't always easy. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable and uncertain. It might mean letting go of what feels familiar and stepping into the unknown. It might mean releasing control, surrendering your fears, and believing deeply in God's promises even when they seem far away. Trusting God completely means saying, I believe you, God, even if I can't see clearly yet. I choose to trust your ways. Even when mine feel easier, I choose to trust your timing, even when mine feels faster. Right now, you're at that exact spiritual crossroads. It's a critical moment that demands your courage and clarity. God won't force you down any path. He waits patiently, watching closely, ready to support you the moment you choose to trust Him fully. Your choice right now proves how deeply you trust His promises and His process. Think about all you've learned about the tests you're facing. Reflect clearly on how far you've already come. God has seen every step, every struggle, every moment of faithfulness. He knows how tired you are, how much you've sacrificed, and how deeply you've prayed for change. And He knows you're ready for something greater. But that greater blessing requires a decision right now, a powerful choice to trust fully even when you don't yet see how it'll work out. Maybe you're still thinking, but how can I know for sure? The answer is simple, yet powerful. Faith isn't about knowing everything clearly up front. It's about trusting fully in the One who does. God sees what you can't see. He knows what you don't yet know. He has a clear plan for your life, that's better than anything you've imagined. Your role right now isn't to understand everything perfectly. Your role is simply to trust and choose clearly. Take this moment seriously. Understand that the decision you make right now can change everything. God is not testing you to see you fail. He is testing you because He believes you're strong enough to pass. He's preparing you because He knows your heart and your future. This is your turning point, your chance to move boldly forward. So pause and reflect deeply. Imagine clearly what your life could be like if you choose to fully trust God today. Imagine stepping into the freedom and abundance He has planned for you. Imagine the joy, peace, and security you'll feel when you finally let go and trust completely. And now, ask yourself honestly, are you willing to trust God's process fully, even when it's hard? This moment right here, right now, matters deeply. It's your critical choice. It's your spiritual crossroad. Choose clearly, boldly, and bravely to trust God fully and take your first step confidently toward the incredible breakthrough waiting just ahead. Now, let's clearly picture something amazing together. Take a deep breath and let yourself imagine exactly what it will look and feel like when you've passed all of these divine tests. Think carefully about all you've faced, every difficult moment, every unanswered question, every time you felt unsure or alone. Now imagine that moment finally arriving. Your tests are behind you, and God begins to elevate you just as He promised. Remember the story of Joseph. Joseph faced incredibly hard tests. His own brothers betrayed him, sold him into slavery, and told their father he had died. Joseph faced loneliness, false accusations, and spent long, painful years in prison. He had every reason to give up, become bitter, or stop trusting God. But Joseph stayed faithful through every trial. He trusted God deeply, even when life made no sense. Because Joseph passed his tests, God raised him up to a position of incredible power, responsibility, and abundance. Joseph was lifted from a dark prison cell to becoming second in command of all Egypt. He was given control over unimaginable wealth, land, and resources. His life transformed completely, moving from hardship to great honor, authority, and purpose. Through Joseph's obedience and faithfulness, countless lives were saved and blessed. Now, clearly picture your own life transforming in a similar way. You've trusted God fully, shown wise stewardship, acted boldly in faith, obeyed without hesitation, and stayed strong, even in isolation. You've passed the tests God has placed before you, and now it's your turn to rise. God begins opening incredible doors in your life. Opportunities you've only dreamed about start coming your way. Your financial situation dramatically improves, not just a little, but beyond your wildest dreams. Debts begin to disappear, your stress melts away, and financial worries no longer control your thoughts. Instead of struggle, you experience financial abundance. Resources flow into your hands with ease and consistency. But your reward isn't just about money, it's far greater than that. You begin to step into the spiritual abundance God has planned for you. Imagine clearly the peace you'll feel, knowing your faith was never wasted. Imagine the joy of knowing God has seen every tear, heard every prayer, and honored your faithfulness. You begin to clearly see God's hand guiding every area of your life. Your heart fills with deep gratitude and humility, knowing God chose you specifically to handle such a powerful blessing. You're not only provided for, but now you have the incredible opportunity to help others. Clearly picture yourself becoming a kingdom financier, someone God uses to impact many lives. You no longer just hope for blessings, you become a blessing to others. Imagine helping your family and friends, supporting your church or ministries, funding community projects, and even changing lives around the world. You clearly see yourself stepping into your true calling, living out the abundant life God always intended for you. As your abundance grows, so does your wisdom, spiritual strength, and clarity. Every test you've passed becomes your source of strength. You now understand why God allowed each struggle, each one, prepared you perfectly for this moment. You handle your blessings wisely and responsibly because your character and heart were shaped through trials. Like Joseph, your elevation becomes an inspiration to others who are still struggling, showing them clearly that trusting God's process brings great rewards. Picture vividly the joy, freedom, and excitement of living fully in your purpose. You wake up each morning deeply fulfilled, knowing you're exactly where God wants you to be. You go to bed each night in peace, grateful for God's incredible blessings and guidance. This isn't just a dream. It's exactly what God is preparing you for right now. Your reward is closer than ever before. Every step of faith, every test you faced, is leading clearly and directly to this moment of great elevation and abundance. God is faithful, and just as He elevated Joseph, He is ready to elevate you. This is your future. Hold this vision clearly and closely in your heart, because soon, very soon, it will be your reality. Now, you've clearly seen the journey ahead. You've discovered exactly why you face these struggles, and you've learned how God has carefully prepared you for abundance. The tests you face: trust, stewardship, faith in action, obedience, and isolation have now become clear pathways to your incredible breakthrough. You understand deeply that God hasn't forgotten you. He's preparing you, and today you stand closer than ever before to your moment of transformation. Right now, you're standing at the edge of a brand new chapter in your life. The old struggles you've faced are behind you, and the incredible abundance God promised is just ahead. But to step into your new life, you must clearly show God you understand and accept His process. You've learned that clarity brings breakthrough and action proves your faith. This is your chance to make your commitment clear. Take action right now by going to the community poll, linked in the comments below. This poll isn't just a simple survey, it's a spiritual declaration. By participating, you're clearly showing God you're ready to move forward. You're telling Him you've seen your tests clearly, you've embraced His process fully, and you're ready for the abundance and blessings He has prepared specifically for you. Your breakthrough requires clarity and bold action. Don't let this moment slip away. Take the community poll immediately and declare boldly and clearly that you're ready for what's next. Your decision today can unlock doors you've been waiting years to open. God sees your heart, and now He waits for your clear response. It's time. Your struggles have not been in vain. Your breakthrough is closer than ever. Go now. Click the community poll in the comments and show God clearly and boldly that you're ready to step fully into your divine, financial, and spiritual abundance. This is your moment. Don't miss it.